Meeting will come to order, please. Johanna, please read the statement of compliance.
The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting have been satisfied. A copy of the annual meeting notice was sent to the Atlantic City Press, Star Ledger, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, the municipal website, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk. Please turn off all electronic devices.
Thank you, Johanna. All please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Mayor Becker.
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg.
I am here.
We have before us for approval the minutes of our September 15th meetings. What is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion, we approve those.
I'll second the motion.
Mayor Becker.
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
We will now open for public comment. If you would like to comment, please come forward. State your name and address at the microphone, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Jeff Hurwitz from the Shore Club, 9300 Atlantic Avenue. Also, he should be here shortly. I'm going along with Sal Calabrese, president of Ivory Beach Condominiums, right across from us. Between us, I'll bring this up a little bit. Between us, we have 94 condo owners we represent. I'm on the board over at our place as well. In years past, municipal trucks had maintained the beach over at Decatur, not on our block that we share on Washington Avenue. What's been happening is their entry point has been causing a lot of disruption for our owners. Their early morning entries around 7 a.m. waked people from sleeping. Their wheels dig into the sand and create huge tracks that need to walk. For people who need to walk through the beach, they're having trouble doing that. Because they use our bulkhead, no longer we have stairs there. The opening causes sand to blow into our buildings, also into our cars. It's a big issue. And also because there's no stairway there, more and more people coming from the outside areas to our building, to our beach, overcrowding it because they're easily able to cart their wares in there, their chairs, their tents and everything. The beach is getting overcrowded. But the main issue is one of access that is causing problems. We're in a residential area, and Decatur was a commercially based area primarily. It seems not having much wisdom having the trucks coming in where there's people living and sleeping rather than where there's businesses only that aren't disrupted by that. Also, in addition to all that, there's been issues with police not being out there enough to patrol the kids in the summertime, peak seasons, with the teens gathering there, causing troubles. At night, they have jumped into our pools. They have a pool, we have a pool also. There's been issues with that. I know one kid was chased away from the building over at Ivory Beach and ended up throwing a brick through one of the glass windows. We need police presence there, and we need the lights back on. The street lights have been off for some reason, I don't know why. But these are all issues that center around a couple of things. But the main thing I want to stress is having access to the beach from Decatur for the maintenance trucks and not from Washington Avenue where everybody is living and sleeping. That's basically the gist of it.
Okay. Ron, do you have any comment?
Sure, I can address the
Sure.
comments
Okay.
As far as the police presence in that area. Over the summer months, there were a total of 5 reported calls between Ivory Beach and the Shore Club. And 5 reported calls, and 3 of them were all over Labor Day weekend. And the property damage with the driving, apparently, we don't know that it was a juvenile who caused the broken window because there was a security guard out there at the time. We're assuming that that's what it was, and the police response was within probably a minute and a half from the time the call came out.
Right.
So I don't think it's a pervasive problem in that area. 2 reported calls, both on the same day, both within 8 hours of each other.
I think with all due respect, a lot of people didn't call in for issues where there's kids hassling them and stuff like that, just annoying.
We have a couple other reports of
Yeah.
people being taunted by juveniles.
And I do think, just to get the message clear with the brick throwing, I believe a kid was chased earlier that night from the pool, got out of the pool, and they thought the same kid came back and threw the brick through. It may not be substantiated in your report.
It isn't substantiated in
Yeah,
the
okay.
report, no, it isn't. But I think we directed patrols down in that area, especially between Washington and Decatur in and around the beach area because of the complaints that we received from the Shore Club and from Ivory Beach because of that. You know, unfortunately, we do have to prioritize our calls, you know, with the limited personnel that we have. So, you know, I think our response times in relation to that are pretty quick.
And the police are doing a terrific job in Margate. I have utter respect for them. It's a matter of where they're positioned at. This year, we didn't see enough positioning at our beach as we had in previous years. There wasn't much of a police presence. Kids were just gathering there and kind of going at will. There was a report that nobody wanted to approach the kids. I don't know if that's true or not, for fear of retribution from the parents and stuff like that.
No, I don't believe that's the case as far as fear of any kind of retribution at all. You know, we try to deploy the resources the best that we can, and we usually deploy them between Decatur and Monroe, in and around Atlantic Avenue, and on the beach if possible. But if there is a serious call or something in nature that we need to leave because it's an emergency response, then we might have to leave the area for a period of time.
Yeah.
You know, and it can be difficult when there are larger groups of children, or you don't want to say teenagers, in and around that area. You know, when you move them along, you know, they usually move along to another block, and then they try to congregate again.
Right.
So I believe we do the best that we can in trying to keep them in one area.
And Wawa being down the block from us, I know they kind of gather there and then walk down to our beach a lot.
Very true. They usually walk between Ventnor and down to the beach walk on
Is
Washington.
there any reason that the street lights were turned off? Because it's been dark at our place. It's a problem just walking there at night. But also, we heard they didn't want the kids to gather there, so they shut the lights off, which
I
seems
didn't hear
contradictory to what
anything
kids
about
do.
shutting the streetlights off.
They've been off.
Okay.
Yeah, they have been off.
Well, I'll pull the.
Hold,
Excuse-
go ahead, John.
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
All right, I'll call the electric company tomorrow. I'll get the tag numbers off the poles and see if they're,
John, they're fixed.
they are?
Yeah, I just talked to one of our, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I had the app.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
All right, all right.
amazing.
So,
I'm
Sir?
totally impressed.
Sir, is there anything else you would?
Sal, Sal, you're hired.
Pretty good.
How about $1 million? Can we get that?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So, you know, we understand your problem, we really do. We need cooperation from the neighbors. Obviously, we can't be everywhere at one time. So I would suggest that by the way, your 3 minutes are up, about 5 minutes ago.
I did my part.
No, we,
Stay in contact, please, with Ron or whoever, or me, or any of the
well,
commissioners.
Jeff, I talk with Jeff all the time. I just want to back up when you talk about the ramp, the access ramp.
Yeah.
When we went through the process with the dune fill and we fought it, and, you know, the sand gone, everybody has that issue. I mean, we have no control. It's a public beach. It's owned by the state of New Jersey. Every one of us own it. It's not our jurisdiction. We maintain it and clean it.
Mm-hmm.
The Army Corps, that's their design where those ramps were placed, because they can't bring their equipment in when they have to do beach fills on our ramps. The ramps aren't designed to carry the weight of the 100-ton, 150-ton.
John, the ramp next door in Decatur was always used for that purpose.
No, there was never, the Army Corps was never on our beach before the beach fill. I still have the plans in my office. They designated 3 openings for access. I sat in the meetings with our engineer to get the poles, which I put on the Public Works, that we could close it in the winter to prevent sand from coming in, and they put the gates in. And we leave that small 4-foot, and that post comes out, and they can bring all their big cranes and all their big equipment in. We had no control over that. That's the Army Corps. That's an issue with them.
In light of the fact there's 94 unit owners right around that block.
I get that.
Can you petition them?
I get that.
Okay.
Now, going to the ramp on Decatur, that ramp's coming out. And the reason why it's coming out is Lucy's going through a major renovation. And Lucy is building probably between a $3 to $5 million interpretive center. It's being designed, our engineers involved in the project, they hired a private architect, they're designing it. They're going to be bringing busloads of kids in. So we're working, and I've had many conversations with our business administrator, that we have to make that more kid-friendly. We can't have trucks running in and out of there. And I think our Public Works, we maintain our beaches for all our residents. Our beaches are the cleanest anywhere in the state of New Jersey. Frank and his crew are out there all day long. We have to be off the beach, removing all the trash and cleaning the beaches. by 9 o'clock in the morning. Am I correct, Frank?
Yeah, and another thing is there's other access points on the beach, so we will start using those instead of those guys all going through Washington Avenue.
Oh.
I'll have guys go to Granville, Delavan, the guys that work down at the other
The
end of
trucks,
this.
same trucks, yeah.
Well, the trucks and the tractors. The tractors
Yeah.
make a lot of
Yeah.
noise. I understand
Yeah.
that. But we still will have to use that, but we won't use it as much.
So it
We
won't
can
be
cut-
as primary a spot, you're saying, as it has?
Yeah, we'll spread it out a lot more. Usually that's the access point, and then we distribute all the equipment down the beach. But we'll do that on the street now, and then just use those other access points.
The other question was, could Benson, the next street over from Decatur, be used for that purpose? Can there be a ramp put up there? I know it's expensive to put a ramp up, but it could be something to be there forever.
We want to stay away from ramps because they're dangerous. The kids,
Can I interject on the
Yeah.
ramps real quick? To interject on the ramps, this has been an ongoing issue with our insurance carrier as well. We actually thankfully had the Delavan Avenue ramp completely removed because it was a safety hazard and an issue. And part of the recommendation was to eventually remove the Decatur Avenue ramp, which is part of the process. So our insurance carrier doesn't like the ramps for beach access because the visibility in those areas is next to none when you're on that incline going over and you can't see anybody on the other side. So our insurance carrier does not recommend or does not want us to have those ramps anywhere.
In light of that, could there be a flat entry from that position from Benson?
well, I don't like it because of the Lucy issue. Lucy's, first off, is a national historic monument.
Sure.
And we're trying to make more out of it. The Lucy Committee's really working hard to
Understood,
raise
John.
money.
I'm saying Benson's the next block over, though, away from Lucy. Is that a
Well,
possibility?
then, Benson, that's Island House.
It's not right at the Island House. It's the buddy, the parking lot's there for that.
It's not wide enough.
But there's a wall there between the parking lot and that. So it wouldn't be getting sand over there.
Can I make a suggestion? I've been very generous with your time. Can we give someone else a chance? And please stay in contact with us, okay? I'm not meaning to cut you short on your concerns, I'm really not. All right, thank you. Is there any other public comment?
Thank you. My name's Bill Weber. I am an owner and resident at Ivory Beach. I was on the receiving end of the rock. The rock went through the window at my unit. The security guard had nothing to do with it. He was on the other end of the property. He just simply said he didn't see who threw it, but there was a collection, as there typically is, of kids out there at that time. I don't dispute what the officer says about contacts or calls. I will suggest to you, however, that the categorization of those calls may lead to a much larger number than 3 to 5. I called more than 3 to 5 times over the course of the summer. Different reasons. I was challenged by a kid urinating in our parking lot. When I asked him to leave, he told me to go. And when I said, this is private property, he said, make me leave, old man. I had enough sense, enough experience to walk away. That happened to other people, other residents, on our property. The kids are consistently in the pool. They're hopping the fence. When you ask them to leave, you get expletives. They don't leave. We say we're calling the police, then they'll hop out and they'll leave, and they'll come back an hour later. I sympathize with the city's problem and with the police's challenge. They can't have a cop every 100 yards. But the notion that this situation isn't and can't be addressed is an admission of failure. Somebody's going to get hurt. The window that rock went through, which is about this big, is where my 2-year-old granddaughter usually sleeps. She wasn't there that weekend. Her parents wouldn't bring her or her siblings down the next weekend. We have those kind of safety concerns. Damage to property, safety to the residents, and it's an ongoing problem. These kids are intoxicated, they're falling down, their behavior is completely disrespectful. I stopped a mother dropping 4 kids off in a Suburban, 13, 14-year-old girls, 11:30 at night. And I said, have you thought about what you're doing? She said, what do you mean? I said, what do you think's going to happen here? What do you think's going on out on the beach? I don't know. Do you know what's going on? I said, I don't have a child here, but you may want to walk down and explore it. It's a disgrace. And, you know, it's more than an eyesore. It's a security and safety issue for everybody. The access point, I think that exacerbates it. I appreciate your comment, sir, that it'll be spread out. We had none of that before in terms of the drop-off and the heavy trucks. Now we've got all of it. It smells, it's loud. I'm 25 feet from that when I'm trying to sleep. It's every morning. It's got to at least be more equitably distributed. The absence of a switchback at that location is also a security issue. If we get cameras on both sides, we'll be able to pick up who these kids are. One of them,
That's all you need.
yeah, the urinator had bright red hair.
But the only
That-
problem,
That was reported.
laws have changed from our Attorney
Well-
General in the state of New Jersey, and our,
I know you guys are limited. I was solicitor for Marcus Hook back in the 70s when the bikers came into town.
yeah.
We got rid of the bikers. Bikers were a lot more dangerous and damaging than the teenagers are. There are more teenagers than there were bikers, but there are ways to do it. And I know this group has the intelligence and the experience to address this in a way that will be protective of the town and its residents. It's just, you know, we can call incessantly. We try not to. The police are doing whatever they can, and the police have been great. They've been very professional. They encounter the kids. I hope they're not disrespectful to the police. I suspect they probably are. But nothing's getting accomplished, and it's gotten worse. So, sir, I dispute the notion that this has been a good year. It hasn't been a good year for us. It's been the worst year. They're now coming in with impunity into the pool, and when you ask them to leave, they tell us that they're not leaving. And all we need is a Coke bottle and shattered glass on that deck and into the pool. We've got to empty the pool every week to make it safe. Or God forbid a kid, it's only 4.5 feet deep, 5 feet deep. A kid who's had something to drink dives in that pool and breaks his or her neck. We've all got a horrible problem, a tragedy on our hands.
And I believe Captain Cashin was referring to the former years where we had 700 kids out at Wawa. Those were bad years. We had overdoses on the beach. I know our fire department responded to some. I know a young girl was 13 or 14-year-old had to be picked up at Shore Memorial after she was brought back. The mother picked her up, and the nurse releasing her that morning at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning asked the mother, why was she on the beach at 2:30 in the morning? And the mother's response was, she can do whatever she wants.
And that was this year, I believe, right?
It was last year,
Well, there was another episode this year,
okay?
okay? It hasn't changed. It's continuing. I saw a 13, 14-year-old girl being carried in a stretcher off the beach. And that wasn't the girl who ended up at Shore Memorial. That was another episode. The parents in the Shore Memorial episode were called, and their answer was, oh, we're out to dinner,
Yeah, that's right.
Ah,
That was, you're absolutely right.
you know? So, you know, I want to bring it to your attention. We're here to cooperate. We're here to help.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
But
I was just going to suggest that you stay in touch with Captain Cashin, and, okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment, please?
Hello, Kathy Heitzman, 22 South Adams Avenue. I'm doing this for a friend of mine who lives.
Ma'am, your 3 minutes are up.
You have a quick watch. No, I lived on South Washington for 15 years, so I know exactly what they're saying. The speeders going down Winchester Avenue are terrible, and I told him that I would mention it at the meeting. Something needs to be done to slow those people down. I know you put up the signs by the playground, which is wonderful. Public Works has done a fabulous job. They've been doing it for a long time, and I really appreciate it. And I know a lot of people cross that bridge and they don't follow any rules, you know, because they're on vacation. But something's going to happen. He was telling me the other day that they literally had to run across the street one day in the summer because people were coming so fast. And there are people pushing the wagons with all the kids' toys in it and beach chairs. And I'm afraid something's going to happen. So we have to come up with something to slow them down. Because
Winchester
even
between which blocks?
Jefferson
And
and Winchester. He's 9507.
Jefferson and where, and Coolidge, you would say?
No, Jefferson and Winchester.
Jefferson, that intersection.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, he lives at 9507 Winchester. Thank you.
sure. We'll do a
Thank you.
speed analysis on that block.
Anyone else, please?
Mayor, can I just interject one thing since I missed? the
You
work
spoke
session?
already, Dan. Oh, yes, you may, Chief.
I am dressed. This is our shirts for promoting breast cancer awareness for the women. So the fire department allows our members to wear pink colored T-shirts. Anyway, I just wanted to say real quick, National Fire Prevention Week starts October 9th, runs through October 15th. We practice fire prevention and fire safety every day, but I left some handouts and materials up here. We will be visiting our schools and our different daycare centers and that throughout town within the next week. If anybody ever needs the fire department for any fire safety information, materials, smoke detectors, please reach out to us. We're here anytime for anything that you may need. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir?
I'm a Salvatore Calabrese, live at 9220 Atlantic Avenue, Ivory Beach. I don't want to go through what Jeff and Bill said already to you guys, because it's all true. Bill's actually very true. He lives on the lower floor corner, and he gets the brunt of all the young kids. So has it slowed down? I don't know. But from what we see, it's gotten, as Bill said, worse. So there's more kids being, just belligerent, really coming at us. So in 2020, you had a lot more maybe patrols on the beach. You had a lot more ATVs on the beach, maybe it was. But it seems that the kids that were on Wawa or at Wawa just come right down the street and they cause havoc. And for some reason, this past year, it's without impunity and they're challenging all the residents now.
And the officers.
And the officers, don't get me wrong, the officers. The problem is, and I could talk to myself personally, there's going to be an altercation at some point, and something's going to happen to somebody. So it's one resident won't take it so kindly, and one kid's going to throw a punch. That's going to happen. So I think what we're here for is, besides the bulkhead, besides the vehicles, the real issue is the personal property damage and personal liability. That we're liable if someone gets hurt on our property. So some kid hops the fence, like Bill said, gets hurt. It's our insurance carrier, like your insurance carrier for your ramps. If something happens to Jeff's property. So the thing is, a couple years ago or 2 years ago, you always had a police presence at Washington and the bulkhead. And that seemed to stop a lot of the problems, I mean, as far as we're concerned. Okay, as far as we're concerned, it seemed to keep the kids off our properties. Whereas now, the kids just come onto our properties. I don't know if, and Jeff, had kids come into your pool too? Yeah, 2 years ago, we didn't have kids at night in our pool. You know, this year, we had kids in our pool, and we can't confront the kids because there's going to be some type of altercation, and it's not good for everybody. So we would love to have the cops back on Washington. It seems to be a choke point or a funnel for kids. And to stop them before, or stop them at Atlantic Avenue would be great if you guys could do that.
And I encourage you, if any scenario like that should arise,
Yeah.
you call 911 immediately.
No,
And
we will.
That's the first thing I would do.
Yeah.
And we will do our best to have directed patrols, which we do, unless there's an emergency situation, we have directed patrols down.
You guys do. No,
We do.
and to their credit, like the lights being turned on, I mean, the cops are there when we call them, and thank God, right? But there are people that I know who are not as, who are not, like Bill walked away, because he knows better. Some guys don't walk away. And then now then there's a problem. And we're just here to try to stop that from the next level. Either someone getting hurt in our pool, someone getting in a fist fight, someone getting hurt. So that's what we're here for, honestly. So if that helps you guys, just put context to it.
Make a suggestion I've made a couple times already today. Please, if anything is going on, call the police department.
We will.
We can't help you if we don't know about it.
No, we will.
Okay.
We'll have extra security this year. I'm looking into it now with lights and cameras. But if we could stop the kids from coming down to the property before they get there, it's a lot better stopping them at Atlantic Avenue.
Okay, we'll work with you, Alex. Any other public comment? Is there a motion to close public comment?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Mayor Becker,
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo,
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
We will now open, excuse me, public comment on resolutions on the agenda and the ordinance that's up for adoption. Is there any public comment on those items? There's our motion to close public comment.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker.
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
We, at this point, need a proclamation. We need a statement to, as we do every year, to support the Knockout Opiate Abuse Day. Does anybody have a problem with that, Maury?
Nope, I signed it, you did, and so did Maury.
Okay, thank you. Johanna, please continue.
May I have a motion for the introduction of ordinance number 19, 2022, an ordinance amending Chapter 145 flood damage prevention, Article 5, or 4, administration of the Code of the City of Margate, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for the introduction of ordinance number 20, a bond ordinance providing for a clean water project comprised of replacement of water meters in and by the city of Margate in the county of Atlantic, state of New Jersey, appropriating $2,500,000. Therefore, and authorizing the issuance of up to $2,500,000 egregious principal or aggregated principal amount bonded or notes of the City of Margate, County of Atlantic, New Jersey, to finance the costs thereof.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for the public adoption of ordinance number 18, 2022, an ordinance amending Chapter 35, Section 25 of the Code of the City of Margate City, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, to create the position of qualified purchasing agent.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 187, 2022, authorizing payments of claims?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 188, 2022, authorizing payment to Colmar Home Center?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
I abstain.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for the consent agenda, which consists of resolution number 189, 2022, through resolution number 194, 2022.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Johanna. Any further update, Maury? John?
Nope.
I have none. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I will make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Thank you all for being here.